good morning once again and very welcome to Worker Communications. So before we start with our interview, can you please walk us through your entire life a little bit, your personal goals, how you have reached over here, just a brief overview about that.
First of all, thanks to you, Manasvi, and thanks to MRAM for having this interview with me. Hope I can share some of my learnings and experience for the benefit of your readers. Yeah, since you asked about me, so yeah, my name is Navil Shetty, as you know, and I was actually born and brought up in India. I studied here, went to IIT Bombay for my engineering in civil structural engineering, and then I worked for 2 years in ONGC in Mumbai. But after that, I got a fellowship to do my PhD from Imperial College in London. So that's when I went back there. It's many years ago now. Yes, so I did a PhD in risk management of oil and gas installations, and that gave me a very good grounding into the challenges that the industry faces. And then I started working in that sector for some time, few years, and then found that similar challenges were experienced in other sectors as well. So initially in the nuclear sector, I started applying what we developed in the oil and gas sector to solve some of the aging structures and plant in the nuclear sector. And then that also led to working in the kind of highway sector, roads and bridges, complex viaducts. And that led me into the rail sector, which is where I worked for nearly 15 years. And then after that, started branching out into all other sectors. So during this period, actually, I stumbled upon the asset management as a concept, which was just evolving at the time. And risk management is a key element of asset management. So that was really a natural transition for me to go on to the asset management as a new emerging discipline. And I was pleased to be able to learn it myself and then also contribute to the discipline as I went along. So that's how it sort of defines my career over the last 25-30 years. Yeah.
The Institute of Asset Management has been instrumental in promoting asset management as a strategic division worldwide. How do you see IAM India contributing towards accelerating the adoption of structured asset management practices across Indian industries?
Thank you for that question. First of all, I want to mention to readers that IAM India was established only 2 years ago. We launched in March 2023. So before I talk about IAM India, let me talk a little bit about the IAM International, which is a not-for-profit body headquartered in the UK. Almost 30 years ago. In fact, I started working with them about 25 years ago. So it started really as a small group of experts who really cared for this discipline and came together, started kind of learning from each other and started developing some collateral in this space. And that's how it started. So it was a slow start initially in the UK. And I think I would say the defining moment was the development of the first British standard on this subject, which was back in 2008. And I was fortunate to be involved as one of the authors of that standard as well. So that really caught on very well across the world in different sectors. So even in the UK, initially the power sector, the water sector, and other sectors slowly started adopting these things. And then it was also picked up by other countries like Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and Hong Kong, like that. So it started developing very quickly. So within 2-3 years, it really achieved a lot of interest from around the world from different sectors. So that's when our Institute of Asset Management, working with the British Standards Institute, which is a standards body in UK, we decided to take it to the ISO committee, the International Standards Organization, to develop a set of ISO standards on this topic. So I led one of the two committees in that ISO committee, and together we developed the first 3 core standards in asset management. They were published in 2014. So the publication of the British standard by IAM first, followed by the ISO standards, really gave the impetus for rapid expansion of this field around the world. And over the last 25 years or so, the IAM has really taken on the kind of premier leadership role as a thought leader in the area of asset management, developing guidance, developing best practices, developing extensive body of knowledge has been developed now in the last 25 years. Alongside the ISO committee, which obviously has a standardization role, it begins to standardize what is already becoming a good practice. So those two have developed hand in hand over the years. And what we have now in the area of asset management is a good consensus on what constitutes good practice in asset management across different industries and across all types of organizations, public, private, regulated, both infrastructure sectors and manufacturing sectors. Across all those sectors, there is now a good consensus on what constitutes asset management and what are the good practices, what are the kind of key pain points industry experiences and how to solve them. So this extensive body of knowledge is available now through IIM, but also other learned bodies as well. So that was one of the motivation really when I relocated back to India about 5 years ago. So IIM under me, we thought about, okay, this discipline is still new to India, it's not been well understood, not well adopted. So why don't we start a chapter of IIM in India? And that way we got established in 2023. And our role, as I say, is basically to provide as a bridge between the international expertise that is already available and connect the Indian industries and the infrastructure owners, both government and private, to bring that body of knowledge that is available to the Indian doorstep, and also connect our professionals in India to the experts around the world. So IIM now has a network of around 25,000 experts around the world, and they're all very, very keen, including me, very keen to share their knowledge. So that way, by connecting professionals in India with experts from around the world, not only in asset management, but also more broadly in asset management, but also every industry applies the asset management in a slightly different way. By connecting peers from each sector in India to their peers internationally would be a great way of accelerating the adoption of asset management in India. So that's what we hope to do in India. So again, for the benefit of your readers, we are a not-for-profit body, registered as a Section 8 company in the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So we have no commercial interests as such. So we don't do any revenue generating work unless it is contributing to a knowledge dissemination. We hold a lot of workshops, seminars, training courses we provide, but also our flagship event is the IAM conference that happens every year. So through those mechanisms, we reach out to both the individuals, professionals, as well as big asset owners in India. And we are hoping to kind of promote the awareness about asset management and progressively to support them adopt best practices as well.
So going to the next question, organizations often measure success through equipment uptime, maintenance costs, and operational efficiency. For IAM's perspective, how should organizations redefine asset management to focus on delivering long-term value across the entire asset life cycle?
Okay, yeah, that's a very good question. Of course, all the indicators that you mentioned try to measure efficiency and effectiveness of maintenance, and there is definitely a role for those kind of metrics, and definitely maintenance is a key element of achieving what an organization wants to achieve. But asset management actually goes much beyond maintenance, and it starts really just to add some key definitions into the conversation. Really, asset is defined by the ISO 55000 suite of standards as anything that has a value to the organization. So value defines asset really. So it's not something which is there for its own sake. So maintenance tend to look at equipment just as something that needs to work. So doesn't really ask the question why that equipment is there, what is the function, what's the purpose, and how the business is using that equipment. So what asset management does is that really it focuses on the value that the organization is looking to deliver to its stakeholders. Obviously, our value is measured from the perspective of the stakeholders. So the first point in asset management is really understanding who are the stakeholders of the organization, what do they expect from the organization in terms of a value, and then it looks at, okay, how does the organization currently deliver value to the stakeholders, and what role assets play in that value delivery. Only then you begin to understand what are the key assets, critical assets as we call them, what kind of condition and performance they currently are delivering. Do they have the required capability and capacity to meet current and future demand? So that's where the asset management conversation starts. It really starts at the boardroom, because for many asset intensive organizations, the role of assets become very critical. In fact, my own kind of experience working with many organizations and talking to the CFOs, we got them to estimate how much money you spend on asset management, and as it turned out, more than 70% of the money they spend is on assets, either in creating them, operating them, maintaining them. All those things take a lot of money. So if you can get efficiencies in how you do it, and also make sure that the assets are really effective in delivering or supporting what the organization wants to achieve, then you have a big value multiplier. So this goes quite a beyond maintenance. So I wouldn't say that maintenance is asset management, but asset management is definitely a key part of asset management. So the focus of asset management is really about understanding assets and how do we need to realize value from those assets. In fact, asset management is defined as the coordinated activity of an organization to realize value from assets. So that's how asset management is defined. So it's very, very broad approach, very much a strategic, long-term and value-driven approach for creating, sustaining and enhancing value delivery from assets for delivering whatever the stakeholders want. So if it is a public sector client, obviously you're looking at enhancing the socio-economic development of the country or the state or the region or the city even. Or if it is a private company, you are obviously trying to maximize shareholder value while trying to make sure that you are continuing to deliver best value for your customers. So the conversation starts there in asset management. So going back to the specific question you had about metrics, the asset management does have its own metrics, but it starts with the stakeholder value, understanding what stakeholders want, how do we measure that, and then from that, obviously you can't meet all the expectations of all the stakeholders. So you then, as an organization, consistent with the organization's purpose, its own legal mandatory requirements and its vision, mission, agree, these are the things that we can commit to delivering to our stakeholders. They typically turn out to be the encapsulated into the organization's goal, outcomes and objectives. So then you need a measure for measuring how objectives are being achieved. And organizational objectives are then translated into asset management objectives at a whole portfolio level initially, how the whole portfolio supports the organizations and its objective. Then you systematically cascade down those objectives to different units within the organization, maybe different lines of business, different asset systems or major functions, and then below that to the individual assets. So you have a complete cascading down of objectives on the left, and commensurate with that you should have a sort of a pretty much a bottom-up rolling up of metrics. So they may start as maintenance object metrics in the operational level, very soon become the kind of system performance metrics, and above that will be the organizational strategic KPIs we call them, and above that level is the stakeholder KPI. So it's a complete framework that need to come together, and interestingly, asset management offers a very good framework to bring all these elements together in a consistent way. So you can see that asset management does embrace maintenance. In fact, I would say that by taking an asset management approach, maintenance get a much more important role to play. So boardroom will understand what a maintenance engineer is trying to achieve or trying to say. So that's how I would see the relation between the two. Yeah.
So going to the next question. Many organizations have invested significantly in digital technologies and maintenance initiatives, but still struggle to achieve consistent business outcomes. What distinguishes organizations that truly practice asset management from those that primarily focus on maintenance activities?
Yes, I think going back to the previous discussion on maintenance and asset management, really, so far from what I have seen, application of digital technologies In the kind of manufacturing and infrastructure sectors, I would say the uptake is still slow in that sector compared to automotive, aviation, and those sectors. Even process industries, they are a bit ahead in terms of the uptake and adoption of digital technologies. So in our sectors, most of the applications have been at a kind of a POC level or small scale pilots. So they obviously the impact they can deliver is small. If you want to really leverage the power of digital technologies, you need to take an organization-wide view. So it needs to be a part of the organizational transformation journey, and you need to look at transforming everything that an organization does. How can that be done much more efficiently, much more effectively through the use of digital technology? Not only that, I would say go a step further. Given the power that the digital technology offers the organization, how can I do deliver my business in a totally different way, generating or creating new value streams and engaging with my customers, my other supply chain partners and other stakeholders in a very different way. So that's where the power lies. So if you just focus digital technology on addressing maintenance, you won't get the required benefit that is actually potentially possible with the adoption of digital technologies.
India is making unprecedented investments in manufacturing, transportations, utilities, energies, and public infrastructure. What role can asset management play in ensuring these investments deliver sustainable economic value, operational resilience, improved safety, and environmental responsibility over their entire life cycle?
Again, a very, very interesting question. And as you've seen, the level of investment that is going into the sectors that you mentioned is immense, really. So just looking at what the infrastructure project that the government of India is delivering over 5 years is something like $1.5 trillion. It's huge. None of the Western countries are investing at that level. So it's a huge investment going into generating and creating new infrastructure, either in the industry sector or in transportation, energy, and those sectors. But sadly, most of these mega projects are being still conceived in a more traditional way, design plus build or design and build contracts, but not really taking the long-term view. These infrastructure have a huge impact on developing the socio-economic development of the country, really transforming regions and states, creating new employment opportunities and education opportunities for the citizens of the country. So if you focus initially on what objectives the government is looking to deliver, and for that what is the mix of infrastructure investments that need to happen, and while we create those things, think about how long they need to survive, how long they need to continue to function and keep on delivering value. And more importantly, it is given that the demand on these infrastructure systems and industrial systems is going to go up over the next 20-30 years. So think of the long term. Don't think about what we have done last 20 years and trying to create something similar now. That will become out of date within a few years. So think long term. Think about the long term demand. Think about the long term performance that is required, and also think about the whole life cycle cost and whole life cycle carbon as well, because India is now heavily focused on achieving its UN SDR goals, Sustainable Development Goals. And as a result, there are targets being set on achieving net zero and reducing carbon. So while we are trying to develop infrastructure, we should also take into account the impact we are going to have on the environment by creating new infrastructure. In fact, all the infrastructure are very carbon hungry. At the same time, we should also understand impact on infrastructure first. So we do need to think about adapting our infrastructure, existing infrastructure, to the impacts of climate change. This is the question of resilience you are asking about. So by understanding those long-term climate-related risks as well as long-term demand, we'll be able to design our infrastructure and the systems in a much better way. And in fact, many studies have shown that by taking a long-term view the total cost of ownership can be significantly reduced during the initial design and build stage itself. And the savings will be tremendous, tenfold or even higher over the lifetime. Other key point I want to get across here is that when you are planning, evaluating alternative concepts, doing the detailed design and creating or manufacturing something, that is when you have the greatest control on how the assets will perform over the long term and what will be the whole life cycle cost as well. So by taking a whole life approach right in the beginning, you begin to optimize the assets much better during the design and construction phase. So sadly, this approach and understanding is not there in India, and sadly it's also not there in many countries around the world also. So it's only few countries have begin to adopt this approach now. If I may just mention the example of UK and Australia. Now the government in the UK requires by law for all public sector investments in creating new assets or new facilities to take a whole life value and whole life cost approach. Yeah, so whole life value is looking at value benefits to the stakeholders, including the society, including the economy and the environment. And whole life cost similarly looks at all the total cost of ownership, any risks that will be become evident over the long term during service, and also the operational carbon that will be emitted. So by taking a holistic approach of both the benefits and the cost and the risk, you'll be able to design and optimize your assets in a much better way during construction, but also they will be much more ready to be operated in a more efficient and effective way during their service as well. So that's why I think this is one area where we are beginning to talk to the government as well to raise awareness about taking a long-term approach, and how progressive countries like UK and Australia are already making it as a mandatory requirement as part of introducing a asset management as a policy on those capital investments. So that kind of an approach would be really beneficial for India, and it is time that we need to raise awareness of all our key stakeholders and begin to embrace this emerging approach on what we do in India.
Artificial intelligence, digital twins, industrial IoT, predictive analytics, and connected assets are transforming industrial operations. How do you see these technologies reshaping asset management over the next decade, and what capabilities should organizations begin developing today?
Fantastic question again. I think this is the power of emerging digital technologies. Some of them examples you mentioned, there are more going to come over the coming years. India has a clear advantage in this area because a lot of the digital technology developments come out of India for the world, and the new emerging workforce that is joining the industry and the governments are already digital savvy, digital natives in a way, and by adopting these digital technologies in asset management and also in operations of industry and infrastructure, the acceleration, the adoption of asset management in India can be significantly accelerated through the use of digital technologies. But also, I would say that given the competitive advantage that India has in this field, India can actually leapfrog asset management over the coming years through the use of digital technologies and developing very efficient and robust digital solutions, which can be adopted in India, but also can be exported to countries around the world. So in fact, India can, if a clear focus is given to this approach in India, within 10 years, India can become the leader in this area over and above the Western countries. So this is clearly a great opportunity for India. And going back to your question, how does these digital technologies support organizations? Again, until now, most of the applications have been at a very small scale level, just solving some maintenance problem in one area rather than taking a more transformational approach. They have a very powerful capability. In fact, you can apply right at the planning level. As I said, asset management needs to really support what an organization is trying to achieve in the next 5, 10, 15 years in delivering its own strategy and your strategic plan. That is where you can bring in asset management and all the digital technologies. So using the digital technologies, you can actually monitor long-term trends, not just in climatic conditions, but also other geopolitical conditions that are happening, the supply chain constraints. More importantly, engaging closely with their customers. You can begin to model the customer sentiments. So really understand what the customers are looking for from the organization. So from that stage, you can begin to really plan and invest make your investments in the right place to maximize the advantages and opportunities that this presents. And beyond that, once you decide that you need to create some new assets and new capability to support the demand, so that's where you can begin to apply digital technologies initially through digital design, digital manufacturing, or digitally enabled manufacturing, I would say, or construction as well. So already you must have heard of BIM is coming in a big way in the built environment. So those technologies again help you to undertake initial capital acquisition phase in a much more efficient way. And when you go into operation, again, you can bring in the digital technologies to completely connect up, as I said, the connected assets, connected ecosystems, connected customers and the shareholders. So everybody can be interlinked with a very clearly defined protocols for managing data. In fact, taking obviously into account the cybersecurity risks, how they need to be managed. But this power of digital technology gives the organization to really monitor in real time how assets are being used by the customers and end users, how they're actually deteriorating over time, what kind of failure modes can happen over time. So to be able to pick up those trends, both adverse trends which may impact on the process, as well as degradation that may be happening in assets, both can be monitored using advanced IoT sensors now, which also have kind of edge sensors. A lot of analytics can be done locally, but other than that, you can bring the data in real time onto a cloud-based system, and using the AI and Gen AI system that you mentioned, you can do analytics of this extensive data that is going to be available. And from that, you can really understand how the system is performing, how the process is working, is it steady state or is it really degrading slowly, which you can understand much sooner than actually noticing some adverse impact on the operations and manufacturing. At the same time, you can also begin to monitor how different assets are degrading, when likely an asset is likely to develop a more adverse condition or inadvertently fail during service. So by understanding these things, you can plan your mitigation actions just in time to make sure that the critical asset doesn't fail and impact on operations. But also, if the operational parameters are going out of control, you can actually take corrective action to bring the asset and the process back to stream. So this is really the power of digital technology, quite immense actually, and getting it right is important. It has to take a organizational wide view, not just a local maintenance view. And other thing also I would caution here is that digital technology should not be seen just as a way to reduce headcount, cut out costs. It should be really used as a providing leverage, greater insights to our maintenance engineers, asset managers and operators, so they can focus more on important things, what things matter for tomorrow, rather than firefighting all the time. So that's where I see the kind of use of digital technology in a very effective way.
One of IAM's core objective is to promote professional development and competency within the asset management community. What skills, leadership capabilities, and organizational culture do you believe will define the next generation of asset management professionals?
Thank you for that question. This really excites me. I'm really passionate about developing people, developing capability, and over the years, I must have trained more than 600 people, both in my own organization as well as various clients I've worked with around the world. Yes, as Ascent has emerged only in recent years, still new to many of the organizations and people. So the initial focus of IAM has been on raising awareness and developing competencies for people. So that's where IAM has a big role to play. So in fact, the key objectives of IAM are basically developing and disseminating knowledge. The second one is developing and supporting people, particularly the asset management professionals in their career journey. And as part of that, IAM offers a complete career path for people to grow in this field. So if somebody comes to this discipline as a mechanical engineer, obviously they would want to get experience in design and manufacturing and achieve probably certification in the chartership in the mechanical engineering. That is fine. But if they then decide to continue their career in asset management, a complete career path is available through IAM. So that involves various qualifications from certificate to diploma to a full chartership in asset management is available now. And also you can progress in terms of your membership grades from associate member to a full member to a fellow. So the complete professional career path is available through IAM. So as part of supporting individuals through this career journey, there is obviously a need to clearly articulate what are the asset management competencies required. And IAM actually has developed a asset management competency framework. So that can be adopted by organizations to ensure they have the required competencies as part of their team. Not everybody has to have all the competencies, but as a team, as an organization, they need to have all the competencies. So in fact, IAM together with the ISO and other learned bodies have defined the scope and breadth of asset management through 40 core capabilities, so 40 of them. So the competencies, there are 40 competencies required. So maintenance being one or two of them. So quite broad in that area, in that regard. And depending on what role the individuals play in an organization, the relevant competencies can be identified. And you can actually assess the level of maturity of individuals in that role on a kind of a maturity scale of 1, 2, and 3. So 1 being just a working knowledge, 2 being competent, and 3 being an expert in that area. If you want to add 4, it will be kind of a industry expert or a national expert. So like that, you can measure the competency of individuals. To support competency development, IAM also has developed a syllabi in asset management. It's covering the wide range of capabilities that I mentioned. And a number of training courses have been defined. And IAM doesn't deliver the training courses directly itself. It organizes a number of webinars which support that, but it also has endorsed a number of training providers based on the kind of process they have put in place, the qualified trainers they have got, and the training mechanisms they use. So based on that, they evaluate and endorse training providers, and they are around the world. So you can actually reach out to any of them, or if you want to develop a training course internally in an organization, IAM also helps with that. So it actually gives what you need to do, what kind of process you need to put in place, what kind of competencies the trainers need to have. So that kind of support is also available. So developing competencies is very, very key for effective asset management. But I sort of directly jumped into as a competency development first, but addressing your question more holistically, for successful asset management, it comes down to people. So it's really people do asset management. It's not the systems and processes. They are there, they are the toolkit. But people need to have the right competencies, right skills, and more importantly, the right culture. You pointed out very importantly, as I said earlier, asset management is a coordinated activity across the whole organization. Yeah, all different functions, both technical functions as well as support functions like finance, IT, HR, procurement, they all need to work together to be able to deliver successful asset management, to be able to help the organization to achieve its own strategic plan as well. So this kind of coordination can happen only when people understand the bigger picture, understand the role they play, and also understand the contribution they need from other colleagues, other functions, in the organization, also understand the impact of what they do on other functions. If they don't do their work properly, it has an impact on others, and in turn it will have an impact on the whole organization. So culture becomes very important, a collaboration culture, and looking at the bigger picture in the interest of the whole organization and the whole system you are part of, rather than trying to cover your own self-interest. So that becomes very, very important. And how does that culture come about? That's where the role of leadership comes. Only the top leaders can actually help to enthuse a right culture in the organization. So leadership, they need to first understand the value that asset management can contribute, and what does it mean? What does it mean for your own organization? And then how do I actually make sure that the right roles and responsibilities are defined in the organization, right policies are put in place, and right level of resourcing and empowerment is provided, supported by ongoing visible leadership, as we call, and communication. Communication has to be really effective, and it has to be at all levels in the organization. So if you could bring together the leadership, the culture, the competency, I would add knowledge to that one, skills and communication. See, these are all the soft aspects. These are the important enablers for successful asset management. In fact, a survey carried out a few years ago, international survey, which asked asset managers from around the world, what is the biggest blocker for adopting asset management in your organization, and what do you see as the important success factors. And out of several factors that were identified, nearly 60% of the total weightage came down to people issues. That's the leadership, the culture, competencies are the most important. And unfortunately, these are not the easy ones to tackle. So it has to start from the leadership level. It has to start really focusing everyone's minds onto what the organization is about, what's its core purpose, who are the stakeholders we are trying to service and support, and how can we work together in a collaborative way to achieve those objectives and goals. So only that way, very slowly, that this kind of culture comes into the organization. And successful organizations, when you go and talk to them, this will be very, very easily visible. Just by talking to a few people, you begin to see there is a different ethos in this organization. So that's really what the culture is defined, really. Yeah.
Organizations have traditionally measured assets by their physical performance. Today, leading organizations increasingly evaluate assets based on the value they deliver over the entire life cycle.
Correct.
What has driven this shift, and why is it so important?
Yeah, I think this is an important shift of mindset also. So going back to the previous question on leadership and culture. So most organizations try to focus on cost and trying to reduce cost by sweating the assets, which is a phrase normally used. So by doing that, it's easy to reduce cost. You can stop doing maintenance or reduce the level of maintenance. But what happens after 2-3 years, you begin to see that the performance will go down. Yeah, so the assets won't be as effective as they were before, and the risks will go up. So assets will begin to fail during service, which can lead to operational impact as well as in some cases catastrophic safety impacts as well, which has been seen. So you need to really take a holistic view. You can't just focus on cost and reduce the cost. So going back to the earlier conversation about metrics used in maintenance, they definitely have a place, but asset management is really about value, and value delivered to stakeholders and to the organization itself through the use of assets. That's what asset management is about. And to really measure and really tailor all the effort across the organization to really focus on delivering value, you need to have different set of metrics. So the way we do that is first, obviously, at the organization level, hopefully the strategic planning team, if there is one, would have already engaged with customers and understood their expectations, spoken to other stakeholders, the government, the regulators, the shareholders, as well as the legal regulatory requirements. Based upon that, they would have come up with a clearly articulated organizational goals. These are important for the organization. And around those goals, what are the key outcomes we are looking to deliver to our stakeholders? And stakeholders here, not just the customers, but also in many cases, particularly for public sector undertakings or governments, their stakeholders tend to be the whole economy, the society, and widely the environment as well. So if you treat them as stakeholders, you read a different way of measuring what value an organization is committing to deliver, and then also to demonstrate and measure what value has actually been delivered to different stakeholders. So you start from the stakeholder level metrics, then come down to the kind of organizational boardroom level. This is where the strategic KPIs will be looking to measure how the organization is achieving its strategic objectives. And below that level will be the how does asset management need to contribute to these strategic goals. So these are called asset management objectives, and there are asset management objectives to measure achievement of these objectives. So below that level will be more technical systems and technical functions. Then maintenance will be one of those core functions where you can begin to measure those more operational tactical level KPIs. So it is a holistic approach you need to take, both in setting objectives as well as in measuring performance. And again, in some countries and some sectors, this approach is very well defined. If I can take two examples, Hong Kong Metro, Hong Kong MTR in fact. So they are required by law from the government and the regulators to engage with their customers, their daily commuters in a way, to understand what matters to them, what is important. Is it the price? Is it the reliability or the comfort, especially the air conditioning, being a humid country, or safety? All those different metrics, the availability of information, ticket gates, e-vending machines or electronic ticketing, all those different metrics, they actually agree based on consultation with the stakeholders. They agree with the government and with the regulator. These are the core metrics, some 25 of them, that we commit to deliver at this level. And that becomes a part of their license agreement. And if they don't achieve any of those metrics, they will be penalized. And if you overachieve them, there will be some incentives also. So this is a kind of rigor that is possible to bring into this conversation. And by setting those kind of objectives at a high level in terms of stakeholder value delivery, you then begin to optimize how you need to set up your asset management systems and processes to be able to deliver those kind of outcomes that you're committed. So that's one example. A similar example, taking a slightly different sector, is the water sector in the UK. It's a regulated sector. Almost 30 years ago, all the water companies were privatized and regulated by the government. Again, the regulator requires the water companies to engage with its customers, understand what kind of performance parameters they like. And not only that, the survey is very rigorous in a way. If you just ask the customers, they want everything under the sky, right? So the survey is called actually willingness to pay. Yeah. Okay. So what do you want and how much you are willing to pay for it? So that actually determines clearly what the customers value, what they're prepared to pay. So that is a very systematic survey that is done. And based on that, they agree, okay, these are the service levels across all the surveys that have been done, that is set. And then they work out what level of investment is required over a 5-year period, which is the regulatory period over there in the UK, both in terms of operating expenditure as well as capital investment they have to make. And that will then decide what charges they can levy on the customers. So the role of the regulator is to ensure the customers get the best value. Only by understanding and agreeing with the customers what level of service they want and how much it would cost them, then you have a clear basis for the water charges for the customers. So this is how different sectors are beginning to approach this space really. So and you can see just doing maintenance and just using maintenance KPIs doesn't really do the justice to the excellent value that many organizations actually do in terms of delivering socioeconomic outcomes. By taking a more holistic approach and understanding and setting KPIs at that level, you'll begin to understand how to set up your organization how to set up the systems and processes, and also how to bring in the digital technology in the right way, in the right areas, you begin to create a much more effective and efficient asset management system for the organizations.
Having worked with infrastructure across Europe, Asia, and North America, what are the most important lessons India can adopt to build assets that remain reliable, resilient, and valuable for generations rather than decades?
Correct, yeah. Good question again. I was fortunate to work with many clients around the world, both public sector as well as private sector. In Canada, I worked with hydroelectric power plants. In the US, I worked with the New York Subway and the Greater Metropolitan Transit Authority. In the UK, I worked with Heathrow Airport, One Water Company, worked with London Underground, the Network Rail. In Dubai, I worked with RTA, which managed all the transportation. Currently working with Dubai Airport as well. I worked in Singapore, Hong Kong. So many different countries, very different culture. They firstly have how they work. So what is beginning to emerge more broadly as a discipline with the collective knowledge and understanding of all the experts, but particularly from my own experience working with in different sectors as well as in different cultures, the important thing is to understand that asset management requires a clear change in mindset first. That has to start from the top leadership. So they have to focus on value rather than cost. So that's the first thing for change. Secondly, understand the role of people, the culture and motivation competencies. Only by really equipping and empowering the people, the things will begin to happen. You just put in a very expensive multi-million-dollar IT system and hope that it will deliver the value. It's not going to happen, sadly. Yeah, you have to first understand what your business is about and how assets contribute to that business success, and then to manage those assets from a whole life perspective, from a portfolio to system to individual assets. What kind of systems and processes you need to put in place, and how do you then apply technology robustly into that process is a holistic approach that is required. So in terms of key lessons, I would say focus on people, focus on culture first, then put in place the key values, the kind of outcomes that you are looking to deliver. And to deliver those outcomes, what are the core services that the organization need to deliver, to provide, and what are the appropriate service levels at which you need to operate. Once you define that, then you can begin to see which are the critical assets which deliver those services, and how do I need to maintain them, what level of performance, reliability, availability, those things come into play in that time. And to achieve those, what are the right maintenance strategies, maintenance regimes you can begin to optimize. So it's really a holistic approach you need to take. And if you just try to do it at a maintenance function level or in one of the disciplines, it's not going to be successful. It may be successful very locally, but it won't have the kind of impact that is potentially possible through the systematic application of asset management at an organization level, and increasingly it is being applied at a city level and a national level as well. So that's really the power of technology, power of asset management.
I have just a couple of questions left now. Sure. Looking back, how might earlier adoption of lifecycle-based asset management have helped organizations optimize investments, conserve resources, and improve infrastructure resilience?
Yes, as I said, I can just take few examples of organizations. Again, through IAM, we try to collect case studies of successful applications from different sectors from around the world. So anybody can contribute those case studies. So synthesis analysis of all those case studies is being done, and that informs the priority for new guidance as well from IAM, and also the relevant experts come together to develop that guidance. So that's how it works. So from all these learnings, so what is becoming clear is that there are well-established framework now supported by the ISO standard. So ISO 55001 actually gives a set of some 30 key requirements in terms of what must be in place for effective asset management in an organization. So that sets the high-level requirements. And to support the organizations in achieving those requirements, The IAM has produced initially what's called as a asset management anatomy, which is like an introductory guide to asset management. And then 40 capability areas I mentioned, there are a book on each of those. So that's how wide the body of knowledge that is currently being is already available, and more industry specific guidance are being developed. So these kind of this body of knowledge is available. So India can actually learn a lot from these emerging best practices, as well as from case studies of successful application, understanding the challenges these organizations have faced, and what that would mean to my own organization. How can I actually implement asset management more successfully, and taking a more roadmap type approach rather than trying to do it in a hurry. So those are the kind of key lessons I would say would be important for successful adoption of asset management.
For organizations that are only beginning their asset management journey, what advice would you offer to business leaders who want to improve reliability, optimize lifecycle costs, enhance resilience, and create substantial long-term value from their assets?
Yes, Nelly, if I may start with the last kind of phrase there, long-term value. So you need to start understanding what is that long-term value that you want to deliver to your business and to your stakeholders. So if you can measure that and articulate that, so that's really the starting point of asset management. So asset management should be seen as a continual improvement journey. It's not a project that you do for 2-3 years and then stop. It's not like that. So you always have a opportunity to improve. And if I may give some real life case studies, I won't use the name of the organization. By applying asset management success consistently and successfully over the first 5-year control period, this is a regulatory period, this organization managed to reduce the cost by 27% over the 5 years, and also to simultaneously improve performance by 25%. So that's a double effect you get by asset management. So you can reduce the cost and reduce the risks with that, and also achieve improvement in your performance, whatever way you measure it, through revenue, throughput in production, whatever way you measure. So both benefits are possible by systematically applying asset management. And not only that these benefits are achievable, and they are not actually only short-term benefits. Like most other efficiency techniques like Kaizen and others, they are very helpful in achieving 5, 10, 15% savings. But after 3-4 years, those savings get bottomed out, really. You don't get further benefits. Asset management is not like that. It can deliver sustained value benefits over a long term by all the time beginning to understand the value expectations. The market is always changing. You'll be able to change your business, change your systems and processes in line with the external business drivers. And by doing that and continuously learning how your assets are performing, how your policies, strategies and systems processes are performing, you'll be able to further optimize your systems and processes and how you deliver value to your stakeholders. So by adopting a systematic process and an ongoing continual improvement journey through your roadmap, that you can deliver long-term value. So for those who are actually starting on this journey, I would suggest that don't think of everything in one go. Take baby steps. Understand currently how your organization creates value, which assets are core to those delivering those services. Understand which are your critical assets. Understand their current condition, performance. Understand the risks and opportunities. Then you begin to understand where are the pinch points, where are the shortfalls in capacity in meeting the demand. Then you can begin to optimize what I need to invest in creating new capacity through capital interventions, and where I need to enhance my inspections, monitoring and maintenance to be able to sustain performance of critical assets. What are the risks, where I should put in the right controls in place, and to really manage all these things in an effective way. What level of resources I need, both in-house and through the supply chain partners, what kind of competencies I need to develop in my organization, and then begin to systematically measure how well my people, process, systems, and information are delivering value? Are they meeting the required performance? Obviously, the reality is not as you expected, so learn from it, where things need to be improved, where there are potential opportunities to even go beyond. So by systematically taking a continual improvement approach and taking a roadmap approach, progressing from putting in the basics in place, then meeting the requirements of the ISO standard, that gives a level of that's typically defined as a competent level. On a 1 to 5 scale, achieving certification to the ISO standard is seen as a maturity level 3. So once you achieve maturity level 3, you have a fully integrated and effective, may not be efficient, but effective management system in place for managing assets. And once you reach that, then you can begin to focus on key areas that are really key for your value delivery. And then it may be planning, it could be performance measurement, or it could be using digital technology to monitor your assets. So you'll be much more informed in where you make targeted investments to further enhance the capability. And by taking this kind of a slow but steady, progressive approach, you'll be sure to succeed in your journey, and that will deliver significant short-term as well as long-term value benefits. Thank you for that very useful and exciting interview. I really enjoyed that, and hopefully your readers will also find it useful. In conclusion, I want to really come back to the IAM, which is the Institute of Asset Management India chapter, which was established in 2023, as I said. So IAM is a not-for-profit body. It's basically a professional body. Main objective is to really help promote the adoption of asset management in India, and as part of that, helping organizations as well as individuals in their career journey, a professional journey in the area of asset management. IAM, through its extensive network around the world of chapters around the world, and also the headquarters in the UK, and extensive body of knowledge is available to support both organizations and individuals on their journey. So I want to really take this opportunity to invite you to get to know a bit more about us, about the IAM in India, and also, if feasible, become individual member of IAM or become corporate member of IAM. The website will be shared in the publication in due course, so you can refer to that and reach out to the office of IAM here. Really, we are very, very keen to work with major asset-intensive organizations in the government sector, in the public sector, and private manufacturing sector, and a number of areas where we can support you in bringing to your benefit the extensive body of knowledge that is available, in networking your staff and experts with global experts, as well as various events that we hold in India in terms of webinars on a monthly basis. For corporate members, we have a closed door quarterly knowledge share workshop as well. And then we have an annual flagship event, which is our annual conference, and this year it happens to be in Namma Bengaluru on the 28th and 29th of October. I would very much welcome and invite all of you to join and participate in that conference. More details can be obtained through our website. If you search on Institute of Asset Management India, you'll be able to find it. There is a conference website as well as the overall IAM website. And in addition to that, I also want to mention our collaboration with the event MRAM, which is the Maintenance, Reliability and Asset Management. This is a major flagship event that is happening in Mumbai on the 7th, 8th and 9th of October this year. And it's a combination of both an expo, a quite extensive expo, and a 2-day conference, which will bring together thought leaders and key decision makers, as well as supply chain partners from both the kind of various technology and equipment that is being used in asset management, as well as many software vendors, providers and service providers who would be delivering who can deliver support to your organizations. So all of those are coming together on those 3 days, and IAM is collaborating with MRAM, and as part of this, IAM is actually holding a 3-hour workshop on the morning of 9th. So again, we welcome you. If you're interested in asset management, you're most welcome to attend that workshop on the 9th of October. With that, I would like to conclude my discussion, and I wish you very best of luck in your journey in asset management. Thank you.